Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 2, Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 431, Spending the Night at Yao Pass. 4th of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Wei was determined to end the battle swiftly, so he unleashed his full power. After catching up to the ape-like aberrant, he unleashed a flurry of palm strikes, each accompanied by a whistling wind, intending to crush his opponent with sheer force. He's only opened one spring. Just push through and crush him with overwhelming force. The ape-like aberrant dared not meet Li Wei's attacks head-on, instead raised his spine bow to defend. He sensed that the young man before him had opened more than 3 springs, possibly even 4. With the enhancement of his silver silk gloves magic artifact, he might even be able to withstand a few blows from a 5 springs martial mystic cultivator. At the 4 springs level, one could already make a magic artifact shimmer with silver light, suggesting it was likely not a low-grade artifact. A magic artifact in the spring opening, Surge Realm. Who exactly is this kid? The ape-like aberrant racked his brain, but couldn't figure it out. After enduring several palm strikes, his spine bow shattered inch by inch, blood gushed from his hands, and his internal organs felt like they were about to burst. He decisively turned to flee. Li Wei couldn't let him escape. He had to silence him. Catching up, he formed his hand into a sword and unleashed Tai Si splitting strike. A silver palm sword slashed across the ape-like aberrant's back, severing his spine. The massive body crashed to the ground with a resounding thump. Thump. Li Wei followed up with another palm strike, shattering his skull. Only after confirming the ape-like aberrant's death did Li Wei quickly return to retrieve the yellow dragon sword, and wrap it in cloth. Zhao Zhijuo hurried forward to express his gratitude. May I ask the young benefactor's name? Zhao Zhijuo of the Kandli tribe will forever remember your kindness. Old man, you should hurry and fetch reinforcements. That's the most urgent matter right now, Li Wei said. Zhao Zhijuo's face was ashen, his eyes filled with anxiety and worry. Enduring the excruciating pain from his wound, he pleaded, Old One has an unseemly request. Could the young benefactor see this through to the end? In my current condition, I fear I'll collapse from my horse within a few dozen miles if I travel alone. The iron arrow's destructive power was immense, tearing through a large swath of flesh and damaging his bones. Li Wei was reluctant to get involved, fearing future retribution from Shi Zhoujai. However, he realized that the people from the bronze ship would need a place to settle down and survive once they disembarked. If he could resolve this matter now, it might be worth the risk. Li Wei had ridden horses before, but he wasn't particularly skilled. Still, after opening the 2 spring eyes in his feet, his body had become extraordinary. Riding a horse was now effortless. The 3 of them shared a single mount. Zhao Zhijuo lay prone in front, while Xuanhuan clung tightly to Li Wei's waist from behind. Fortunately, the horse beneath them was a sturdy steed that had drunk the blood of a Zuwu, a mythical beast. Its bones were tough, its muscles firm, and its body was covered in tiger stripes. It was far larger and more powerful than ordinary horses. Even carrying 3 people, it still galloped like the wind, capable of covering 1,000 miles in a single day. Yaoguan City, located nearly 300 miles from Burial Immortal Town, had a population of over 200,000. Unlike walled cities, it lacked city walls, gates, and moats, resembling more a large, freely accessible market town. The entire city sprawled like a giant pancake across the fertile plains west of the Shui River, with its western edge reaching the towering peaks of Meng Mountain. It was already night. Ghostfire-like flames flickered from the bone lanterns lining the streets. Li Wei and Xuanhuan were staying at the Yaohua Pavilion, the 3rd largest inn in the city. After a hot bath, they enjoyed not only a bowl of soup noodles but also a dozen other delicious dishes. Earlier that afternoon, upon entering the city, Zhao Zhijuo immediately rushed to the city lord's mansion to seek help. Soon, a thunderous roar of 100 beasts echoed from Meng Mountain. Some martial mystic cultivators rode flying beasts with wingspans of dozens of meters, while others rode fantastical giant beasts resembling tigers, elephants, or rhinoceroses. All were rushing toward Burial Immortal Town. The scene was truly magnificent. Li Province, Lizhou, was the territory of the Kang Li clan, and it had enjoyed centuries of peace. Such a dire event had never occurred before. Though the various Zhuli tribes had their own conflicts and rivalries, in times of true crisis, every tribe would undoubtedly rush to aid one another. The Kang Li clan had intermarried for generations, their bonds as close as bone and sinew. Zhao Zhijuo finally arrived at the Yaohua Pavilion. Overwhelmed with gratitude for Li Wei, he wanted to kneel, but was firmly supported and prevented from doing so. Dressed in gray-white cloth robes, he appeared to be in his late 60s or early 70s, with frosted temples. Yet his muscles were still strong, suggesting he must have been tall and imposing in his youth. If not for the young benefactor's righteous intervention, our Kandli tribe would have suffered devastating casualties. The young clan leader will personally come to express our gratitude tomorrow. At that time, young benefactor, please don't hesitate to state any requests you may have. Zhao Zhijuo's shoulder had been cleaned, bandaged, and treated with some special secret medicine. They have already been rescued. Li Wei asked anxiously, eager to return to the bronze ship. He was deeply concerned about whether the battle at Burial Immortal Town had ended. Zhao Zhijuo nodded. The young clan leader and his men haven't reached Yaoguan yet, but word has come back that the Buddha's Salvation Fodu bandits have retreated. Buddha's Salvation Fodu bandits. Li Wei was puzzled. Weren't the people led by Shi Zhoujai the Earth Wolf King's army? Zhao Zhijuo already knew that the two men before him were not Buddha's Salvation Fodu bandits, but refugees who had fled to Li province and mistakenly worn the same monk's robes, leading to the misunderstanding. Li Wei had already told him this while they were still on horseback. In these chaotic times, refugees were fleeing everywhere. Countless refugees had sought refuge in Li province to escape the turmoil. Zhao Zhijuo, deeply indebted to Li Wei for saving his life, trusted him implicitly. Zhao Zhijuo's eyes burned with resentment and anger. His chest heaved violently, triggering his old ailment. He spoke in a labored, wheezing voice, the southern man, the northern Di, the eastern Yi, and the western Rong. Among the several states in our southern border, the most detested and feared are the three great barbarian bandits, Shufodu of Coffin Mountain, Yuanyan of Night City, and Shinar, the Earth Wolf King. They say Li province is ruled by the Kang Li clan, which is why it has remained peaceful for centuries. But who knows how much the Kang Li clan has endured to maintain this peace. Every year, they must send Coffin Mountain vast tributes and wealth. That's why the Buddha's Salvation Fodu bandits under Shu Fodu only engage in small-scale looting and extortion within Li province, never provoking large-scale conflicts. The Buddha's Salvation bandits' recent brutality and bloodshed is highly unusual. I can't fathom their motives. Li Wei's mind raced with thoughts. He asked, what about the Earth Wolf King's army? Zhao Zhijuo replied, the Earth Wolf King's forces aren't in Li province. They have nothing to do with us. Old Zhao, have you heard of Shi Zhoujai? Li Wei asked. Zhao Zhijuo's expression tightened. Shi Zhoujai is no ordinary man. He's the adopted son of Shinar, one of the 10 great Dharma kings of the Earth Wolf King's army. He only rose to prominence in the last 20 years, but he's already listed in the Jiazi Chronicles. Young benefactor, why are you asking about him? Li Wei had always sensed a deep fear in Zhao Zhijuo towards the three great barbarian bandits, as if even the Kang Li clan had to pay tribute to them. He dared not speak the truth. Revealing it would surely thrust him into the eye of the storm, and there was no guarantee the Kangli tribe could protect him. He might even become a pawn in a power struggle between major factions. Keep a low profile, keep a low profile. Getting involved this far was already dangerous enough. I've long heard of his great name, like thunder in my ears. Li Wei quickly changed the subject. Old Zhao, could you first answer some of my cultivation questions? I've been practicing on my own all this time, and there's so much I don't understand. You managed to reach the 3 springs, even the 4 springs, through self-practice. Zhao Zhijuo looked at the silver silk gloves on Li Wei's hand, and realizing something, he cautioned earnestly, young benefactor, I won't pry into where you obtained this magic artifact, but never activate it in front of others lightly. A man without fault is innocent, but possessing a treasure makes him guilty. Remember that. Li Wei could sense Zhao Zhijuo's sincerity. Touched, he asked, are magic artifacts really that precious? Zhao Zhijuo finally believed the young man before him had been practicing blindly all this time, likely knowing very little about the martial arts. Let me put it this way, if I weren't old and my ambition had not faded, seeing your magic artifact would have likely made my heart race with envy. This isn't about repaying kindness with malice, it's about the overwhelming temptation. It's human nature. In other words, if a celestial immortal-like beauty were to strip naked and walk down the street without any means of self-defense, any danger she encountered would be entirely her own fault. No one could be blamed. I understand. Li Wei removed his silver silk gloves and hid them away. Mr. Zhao, please keep this a secret. Zhao Zhijuo immediately assured him he would, then added, young benefactor, please don't take my words to heart. I've always been blunt. In this world, there aren't many truly good people or truly evil ones. Most people are simply afraid to be too good or too bad. Rest assured, even if I had encountered you in my youth, I would never have repaid kindness with malice. It's just that after eating for decades and seeing so much, I couldn't help but offer a few words of advice. Thank you. Afterward, Li Wei asked Zhao Zhijuo for guidance on cultivation-related matters. Suddenly, the outside world erupted in commotion. The tranquil night was shattered by the sound of wind tearing through the air and the roars of beasts. The Kang Li tribe's forces have returned. Zhao Zhijuo immediately excused himself to greet the young clan leader. Before leaving, he asked Li Wei if he wanted to join him. Li Wei naturally declined. Tonight, the Kang Li tribe's dignitaries would be occupied, making it an unsuitable time for a meeting. Moreover, such a formal encounter would have endless repercussions. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.